Welcome to Be Now for Tuesday, August the 9th. I'm Don McLeod, and as usual, joining me is Fazelle Khan. Fazelle, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you, Don?
Good. It's a little nice and better weather today than it has been for the last 3 or 4 days. It was stifling hot.
It's August, Don, so summer's ending.
Well, you know what? August, September, I don't mind. You know what I mean? The fall is always nice.
Yeah, it's that in-between period, right? When you can't go outside without a jacket, and it's... Anyways, when the CNE starts, Don, summer's over. When's that start?
Basically, then the kids go back to school and everyone has a fun time. Anyway, we're going to talk about the enablers today, but first off, you have an envelope. What do you got in the envelope today?
Oh, geez, we're going right to the envelope. Okay.
You told me right to the envelope.
So normally we receive envelopes, manila envelopes. Today, I have something in envelopes where I'm probably going to have to ship out. And you know a little bit about what's in here, Don.
Oh, do I?
So it is, it is the hood to my camera. There's a few pieces here. And I'm laughing here because I'm telling you, but I'm showing it to you in public so you can't scream at me.
Oh, I'm going to scream at you. I already did. Basically, took our Panasonic 4K camera and dropped it.
No, it fell. I didn't drop it. It fell.
It's like a $10,000 camera and you're dropping it?
So anyways, what we should talk about here is we should start a GoFundMe, Don, don't you think? I shouldn't have to pay for that.
You know what? Who's going to fund that? You're going to fund that out of your paycheck. That's what you're going to do, right?
You know, the millions of people in Brampton have seen me out and about with the camera. The least they could do is put in 10 cents each. That'll add up.
Yeah, 10 cents each.
I can get a few cameras if everybody gave me 10 cents.
Yeah, 10 cents. 10 cents would be good. That'd be no problem.
Just 10 cents. The transaction fees are 30 cents, but so I'll have to charge 50 cents to cover.
All right. Well, we'll ask for donations later on and where they can send them.
All right. So we got a lot to talk about, Don. You had me do a lot of pre-work before we got
let's go back here. Finally, last Friday, there was a special meeting called. Patrick Brown called that he wanted to have a special meeting in regards to the hush money that was paid out from the city and to Jane Doe, as she's referred to in the NDA or the non-disclosure agreement, and with Gurpreet Dhillon. This money came from taxpayers' pockets, apparently, and the mayor called a special meeting. He wanted to make sure that the NDA was released and also that any kind of monetary compensation would be coming out of Gurpreet Dhillon's pocket and not the taxpayer's pocket. So the 5 showed up for this, and a whole bunch of clips that we have were we edited from the 3-hour conversation. I think the first one we're going to show is, which one are we going to show first?
The mayor.
All right, let's go off with the mayor, and then we'll go from there.
To release the settlement document, and I'm asking council to immediately release that document.
Sorry, through you, Mr. Mayor. My advice to you was that this is a matter that should be discussed in closed session, and there may be direction given.
But I don't believe this should be done in camera. The public deserves transparency. And I am livid that this happened. I want that on the record. I'm furious that this happened, and the document should be released, because when I hear someone say, how did the mayor and council not know? I have the same response. How did I not know about this? Why was council not informed? And I want to add, I've had members of council who have come to me and said they didn't know. And I want to say that I take them at their word. I know there's been questions about who knew and who didn't know. I, in fairness, had a conversation with Councillor Fertini yesterday, and he said he didn't know about any of this, and I don't believe any member of council knew about this. Shortly before July 19th is what I found out, and I want this document to be released today.
All right.
So that was the mayor basically at the beginning. I think at the beginning. You watched the whole thing, Don. I didn't watch it.
Yeah, that was close to the beginning of the council meeting as well, when he talked about why he wanted the NDA released. We're going to find out later We have clips later on why city council was not informed in this, which is, it blows my mind that this can happen. And it's so basically one of the persons that was talking about it, to his city staff, nonchalantly saying, well, it's common practice, which, as I said, it blew my mind that this is something that would be common practice. So that's the start of the council meeting. Now we have a couple more clips on some of the 5 that they were talking about.
Well,
and
before we get to that, Don, there's a comment from Mike Dancy. I'm gonna put it up just because it's Mike and we know him, but this is the kind of comment I expect from trolls, and Mike would probably say he is a troll. So let's put it up. So the mayor didn't know because he was gallivanting around this country on city money. So as you know, the mayor was running for the Conservative leadership. And I don't believe he was gallivanting. That's a big word, Mike. Why'd you put that word in there? Gallivanting around the city.
Mike must have looked that up in the dictionary or the thesaurus before he wrote that down.
Like, you physically don't have to be in Brampton to be mayor of Brampton. Like, you could do it virtually. He was here lots of times. Like, I'm not sure what people expect out of, like, it happens. Like, even right now, they're all running to get a re-election, but we're still paying them. Exactly. So I don't understand what the difference is. I don't like it. I think there should be a period of time, if you're going to run for another office, you should have to give up the current office, but that's not the rules.
Right. And Charmaine did the same thing. So when she was running for MPP, but that, to me, that's not even a valid point, Mike. Sorry. Yeah. So next clip up, we have
smarten up, Mike. Smarten up.
Who do we have next?
Oh, well, before we go next, Nikki says she's going to donate $1 to my camera fund.
All right, put that in. Make sure, take down the name and number.
$1 a month for the next 5 years. Got it, Nikki.
Excellent. Thank you. She's just committed to $1 a month for the next 5 years. Perfect. All right, who do we have up next?
Okay, we have Councillor Jeff Bowman. Here we go.
All right, let's hear this clip, because this, to me, again, blows my mind with the logic. Let's go.
There's no winner here. There is no right or wrong to anything here that has gone on. But I gotta say, we all made an oath when we took this office that, hang on, we all made an oath when we took this office that we would protect the corporation. That's one of the things. I'm not protecting anybody else here. I'm not protecting anybody. But at this time, I am not going to put the city at any potential legal risk. I move that we go in camera to hear what our legal advice is on how this opens the city up to further potential litigation before we do anything. Thanks.
So, by the way, they did go in camera.
So let's
not cloud that by saying, nobody wanted to go on camera. They did go on camera.
So that, to me, is the biggest joke. Number one, Jeff talking about an oath. You didn't take an oath to the corporation. You took an oath to the citizens of Brampton to basically make sure that the city ran properly. You took an oath that you wouldn't take any money. You took an oath that you wouldn't. That there's a whole long list of things. But you didn't take an oath to the corporation. You don't take an oath to the corporation to hide from it and cloak it, and then someone in regards to another councillor having a sexual assault. And yes, there is right or wrong in this. I'm sorry. If you can't see the difference between right or wrong by paying hush money, taxpayer hush money, to a sexual assault victim that was sexually assaulted by a sitting councillor, I think you might have your priorities a little bit wrong, and you might have to actually go back and read Socrates and the book called Ethics, right? If you don't have any ethics, I'm sorry, but that to me is just a joke. You had no problem firing the CAO with legal ramifications. He's suing the city now. You had no problem firing the integrity commissioner, which is suing the councillors and the city now.
For $3 million, right, Don?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, there's all sorts of other things. The Municipal Act, you guys voted against the Municipal Act, and basically that put the corporation at risk. So don't tell me that you're all of a sudden this protective, you got to protect the corporation. I'm sorry, no, you don't take an oath to the corporation. And especially if the corporation is basically corrupt and the corporation is making bad decisions, you don't protect the corporation. That, I think, is where you got your priorities totally screwed up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and that's why we call this episode The Enablers, because why else are you saying these things if it's not to enable Councillor Dhillon? And I have something to say about Councillor Dhillon, I guess, when we wrap it all up. I should have started with it, but we'll wait till the end now. So next up is Councillor Santos, who kind of puts it in perspective as well. Here we go.
There is a bit of a difference when there's a reference to, fiduciary duty, to protecting the corporation, etc. I'm protecting the voices of women who are sexually harassed all over the place. And we unanimously supported the Break the Silence campaign. We unanimously supported for money to be given, the forfeited salary to be given to women's groups. We didn't unanimously support to pay off victims to have them silenced. We didn't support that. In fact, we called for a resignation because of it. Every single member of council voted unanimously calling for a resignation. And yet we still somehow, that's why we're all shocked, somehow paid with taxpayers' money to silence the woman who was harassed. And I want to know what happened. And that's why I support releasing the information. I don't have access to that. I don't know what happened, and I would like to know.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I just don't understand the where someone like Jeff Bowman and Martin Medeiros and Pat Fortini are coming from in supporting this person who has been found guilty of sexual harassment. Right? You have the tapes, you have everything. You went to court, you went to Superior Court, and you're still enabling, and that's why we enable it. We're calling enablers. You're still enabling this person, saying, well, even though it's taxpayers' money, we're gonna do it to protect the corporation. Are you out of your mind?
Yeah, and so here's another comment from Flynn's Folly. Sadly, the mayor doesn't seem to remember things that aren't convenient to him. So, I'm not exactly sure why, when we're talking about a sexual harassment lawsuit about one councillor, why people try to throw all sorts of stuff in to deflect it.
Well, they do that too. They mentioned, even the person that was, you had comments about Rowena Santos. You had comments about Andrea Baird from Trolls Online saying, well, I don't get the point here. She's being duped into talking. People are missing the focus point here. The focus point is we have a city councillor who is charged with sexual harassment.
Well, let's be clear, because I don't want to get sued, Don. He was not charged. He was found by
the Integrity Commissioner, and the Superior Court upheld that decision by the Integrity Commissioner that sexual assault had happened, and basically the Integrity Commissioner.
Well, let's be clear about that, Don. I'm not sure what the Superior Court said.
It was in regards to the decision from the Integrity Commissioner. It was upheld.
If the Integrity Commissioner had jurisdiction to make that call,
and it was upheld.
If he actually did it. So let's just be clear.
Yeah,
I think the guy did it. It's clear to me.
Well, you have the tapes and everything else. The Integrity Commissioner ruled on the tapes were already there. The transcript of the tapes. Yeah. In fact, all councillors, basically, as Rowena Santos said, they called for his resignation.
Yeah, so here we go again with no charged.
No charge. No charge.
So unless they put the guy in handcuffs, he's innocent? No. If you're a councillor, you have a higher standard, you've got morals and ethics you need to follow.
The only reason he wasn't charged because he wasn't charged in the country of Turkey where the sexual assault or harassment happened.
See, we
That's
still got
the
enablers.
only reason.
We still have enablers in this city.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I got some more.
And I can't believe that people are commenting and stuff like that. In this day and age, when you have people talking about, you have all the sexual harassment going on, and you have organizations in this city that basically are there to protect women, and then you have the city running campaigns to protect women and help stop the silence and everything else, and you have people saying stupid comments like that. If this happened to your sister or your wife, would you be say the same thing? I mean, it's ridiculous to me.
Okay,
who do we have up next?
We got Martin Medeiros. Here we go.
So effectively, who are we expecting to pay for this? So I don't. It's kind of a misnomer. Like I don't understand it. So I don't know. Maybe if someone wants to help craft it in a different way, but if the city was named, no one else. It's one thing you say, okay, the city will pay on behalf of Mr. Goyat, or the city will pay on behalf of a staff person. But what this is essentially, the city has to pay its own responsibility.
And we're saying that the city doesn't pay.
So if I could help?
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Mayor.
So if everyone has a copy of the statement of claim, the statement of claim is suing Councillor Dhillon and the city, but they're suing the city based on Councillor Dhillon being a representative of the city. And so what this motion says is that any cost associated with this claim that the city's paid would be paid back by Councillor Dhillon. That's what it says within 30 days.
So the only issue I have, Mr. Mayor, and I understand
Who's going to pay, Don? Is the taxpayers going to pay?
So it's
because of this
okay for the
lawsuit?
taxpayers to pay something like this with hush money, but the city can't, right? That's basically what Martin is saying. It's okay for the city to pay. You know, the CAO is suing the city. And where do you think the money's coming from there? It's okay for the integrity commissioner they fired to sue the city and everything else. No problem there. There's plenty of money for those. But all of a sudden, $40,000 that was paid by the taxpayers to this Jane Doe for a non-disclosure agreement, somehow it's insurmountable number that basically, well, we can't, we have.
If the city's named in a lawsuit, well, if we have to pay it. We can't go to the person who caused the city to be sued in a lawsuit.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's ridiculous. Again, that's why we call it the enablers tonight. It's like they are enabling this kind of behavior, right? So up next.
Okay, up next is, and I could be wrong, it's the city solicitor. It's Diana. I don't know. I think it's Diana Seuss, but she's the replacement to the one they fired. Here we go.
Diane, you said that it's standard practice for non-disclosure agreements across municipalities. Are there any other municipalities that you've spoken to where there's a non-disclosure agreement signed for a sexual assault against an elected official?
Through the chair, to the chair. I haven't spoken to any other municipalities, but I have spoken to external legal counsel who practice primarily in this area and do so for municipalities. And I can confirm based on information and advice I've received from them that it is standard.
So you're telling me that there could be other cities where there's non-disclosure agreements covering up sexual assaults to city councillors?
To the chair, I can't confirm that, and that is not what I said.
This is it's sort of a flippant comment saying that it's standard practice. Councillor, I'll leave that there. But the other comment from Councillor Medeiros is Councillor Medeiros said insurance covered this. Just to be clear, I had heard from the CEO that taxpayers did. So. Did insurance cover this? Did insurance make the payment?
To the chair, I can not comment upon any specific litigation here.
So you did not verify that insurance did, just be clear?
No,
Okay.
I was speaking generally.
Sorry, I spoke out of turn.
Okay, good. I don't want anyone to think this was covered when the information from the whistleblower said it was taxpayers. Okay, thank you.
So let me go on this one, Don.
Yep.
So the blog, we know what we're referring to when I say the blog.
The blog.
The blog. They reported that the city solicitor sent an email to the councillors before they did that press release last week, saying hush money. It's wrong to say the hush money was paid, right? So somehow the blog got this email, so it was leaked to whatever email was sent. It was leaked. But now when she's asked, did insurance pay for this? Oh, I can't say.
Right.
In council, she can't say, but in an email that gets leaked to the blog, she can say.
Yeah, there's, you know what? And here's the killer. It's like, at the very beginning, that clip that we showed of Patrick saying nobody informed him and nobody from council was informed. We know one councillor was informed. That was Gurpreet Dhillon, because basically there's a non-disclosure agreement, so he must have known about it. Absolutely.
Well, and also, we don't have any clips of Dhillon here, but there was a part that I saw when I was tuning in that he basically says an agreement was signed and no statement of guilt was mentioned. Okay, so you're releasing information about whatever this agreement was conveniently.
Yeah.
But when we want the whole thing, we're not getting it.
Yeah. Well, when you sign an NDA, it's kind of an admission of guilt.
To me, it's an admission.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Why sign an NDA if you didn't do anything? Basically, then you should be able to come clean, no problem. If you sign an NDA or get someone to sign an NDA, yeah, that's an admission of guilt in my book, 100%. Right?
So there's lots of comments coming in, so I'm going to have to be selective. But let's keep going here because we got a lot to cover.
Yeah. What was the next one up?
Okay, so I think this is the last one, right? So
yeah, Paul's probably the last one. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a little longer.
But it's basically, it sums up everything, and this is what the CAO and staff should be saying, not a councillor.
Here we go.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't think any member of council here today, when they made their oath of office, ever felt that if they were to behave badly in some way, and this is perhaps the most egregious way that one can misbehave, that they would be protected by default by the corporation. This matter that we have been dealing with now for a few years has been in the open, in the media, talked about quite a bit in detail. And the crux of the issue here, and the reason why we're discussing this today, is because fundamentally, council was never consulted on a matter that is of utmost importance and concern, not just to us, but to the residents of the city who have been grappling with this issue since they first heard about it. Never in my life would I assume that if I behaved in some terrible manner, would the city try to cloak me or to try to obscure information that the public have a right to know about my behavior. I understand, we all understand, that when we are in the public, everything that we do is under the full light and transparency. And I think that there should be no assumption in any case like this where a non-disclosure agreement is allowed without council's express permission.
And absolutely 100% correct. And why isn't staff, basically staff took it upon themselves, oh, it's standard practice to do this and spend taxpayers' money to cover up something like this is to me, that is the huge question. What else has city staff done basically that they feel that they can go ahead and do without council's approval?
Yeah, and when it comes to one of the most important decisions to make regarding covering up information like this, I got to agree with you, Don. What else is going on?
Well, what are they? Are they covering up bribes? Are they covering up murders? Rapes, assaults? I mean, is there?
And it seems like so it totaled $60,000. To me, that's significant enough to come to council with. $18,000, I think, was paid to the victim. $40,000 in legal costs. Regardless, it's a.
It doesn't. If it was
$200, okay, I'd see. It's somebody slipped on the sidewalk.
It doesn't make a difference because this is a sexual assault and an NDA. I don't care if it's 5 cents. It should. Paul is right. It should have come in front of council. Make the decision. All 11 councillors or 10, whatever is at the time, and if they said yes, then it sits on their shoulders for the future. By city staff who don't get elected. For them, they don't care. Their ass is not on the line, right? This should have gone to city council, and it should have been a recorded vote. You either say, yes, we're going to pay it, or no, we're not going to pay it. And then you would have had a recorded vote, and you could have stood on why you did or why you didn't.
Well, so there were four motions that were presented. I think they might have all been presented by the mayor. I haven't seen a copy of them because, when they do these motions, sometimes they don't even put it on screen.
Well, they all ended up 5-5 and nothing was passed.
But here's why it ended up 5-5. Because Gurpreet Dhillon voted on all of them, and he should have declared a conflict. The only way it could pass 5-5 is if the other four councillors, Pat Fortini, Jeff Bowman,
Doug Willans, and I always forget the last one, Martin Medeiros. Yep.
Joined with Gurpreet Dhillon. If Gurpreet Dhillon had to leave, he would have all the motions would have passed. That any councillor charged with this has to pay it back. That the NDA has to be disclosed. that the information, I don't know, I can't remember what the four motions were. And so I don't even know if somebody's filed an integrity commissioner complaint, because this is exactly why an integrity commissioner exists, to see if you should have been allowed to vote on that because you have pecuniary interests. Well, obviously he does.
Of course. And that's the, that's the whole crux of the matter, for people to say, take sides, blah, 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 but you're missing the issue here. The issue is basic ethics and morals. You cannot protect someone. It's like, I'm sorry, but that type of person, if you're going to align yourself with that type of person, then you're going to live and die with whatever else happens, right? The enablers. Yeah, exactly.
I got it. The enablers. That's why I think Councillor Jeff Bowman was upset because I think at the press conference, somebody mentioned the councillors that are enabling this behavior. I don't understand why you don't understand how you're enabling this.
Yeah, of course you're enabling it. They're enabling it for the vote getting. And it's like, by supporting and saying to, oh no, well, the taxpayers can afford to pay this. Basically that's what you're saying. Your taxpayers' money. And it's like oath to the corporation to protect it. I'm sorry. But if that's the way you think, that you're there to protect the corporation, it's time for you to resign and maybe get another job, because you know what? You're not there to protect the corporation of the city of Brampton. You're there to do your job and basically represent the taxpayers of this city that pay your salary.
And here's some other tricks that happen on that council. So when they were voting, there's two ways to vote. You can abstain, which means I'm not going to vote, but that counts as a no vote.
Right.
Or you can leave the chambers and then your name doesn't appear. They never left the chambers. You know why? Because they would have lost the vote. Right. But instead they say, I abstain. I didn't say yes to that. Well, you effectively say no. Everybody knows you said no, but now you're going to go into the community and say, I didn't vote for that.
The only councillor that got up and sided with the vote of Gurpreet Dhillon was Doug Willens. The other three councillors, Jeff Bowman, Pat Fortini, and Martin Medeiros, they all abstained, which ended up being a no vote. So
cowardly.
Exactly.
We could call this episode "The Cowards."
Right. So they're not. Doug Willens got up and said he sided with. He's gonna vote against the motion with Gurpreet Dhillon, who shouldn't have voted in the first place, as you said. And then the other three said they abstained, and it's like, oh, like you said, well, I never voted in favor. I didn't vote in favor, and I didn't vote against it. Yeah, well, when you vote against it or you're abstained, that's a no vote, right? Yeah. So I'm a little
officially changing the name of the episode, Don. It's now called The Cowards.
Okay, Cowards and the Enablers.
Next segment. This is our third segment now. So
all right, so let's move on.
As seen on social.
Okay, what's on social these days?
It all has to deal with one topic, and that's Gurpreet Dhillon. And so I'm going to show you a series of slides. So these are very recent photographs. Don, explain to me why any woman has taken a photograph with this man. Explain it.
I have no idea.
Okay, I thought you might have some answers.
No.
Here's the next one. Explain to me why any man would take a picture with his counselor.
I don't know. To me, it's beyond comprehension. For me, as a person with I like to think like I've got ethics and morals to some degree. It's like I'm sorry, but I can't. It's like, dude, right? It's time for you to resign. Raj Grewal, when he was caught in that scandal in the Liberal Party, when he was with the gambling and everything else. I mean, he did sit as an independent during the vote, but he went away, and it was like, he's still fighting that in court and everything else. But to me, this is a little bit more serious, and you're representing.
This is a lot more serious. Yeah. I think what Raj has is a gambling habit. I don't know. I'm just assuming that. This is not acceptable. Anyways, let's keep going here. So why would his wife stand with him? Like, does his wife believe him? And why were those two women there who look like they're in some kind of photo where they don't want to be? I don't understand this. There's another one here. Again, more women out in the community. Supporting this guy by taking a picture. And this one, it looks like Dhillon just kind of showed up without anybody knowing. And then there's this one, a business opening with this counselor. I'm not going to that business. Sorry, I'm not going to that business.
Yeah, I don't get it. But you notice that they're all the South Asian. Basically, he represents 9 to 10.
The only excuse, Don, for these people is they're not paying attention to what's going on in City Hall. And that's a reasonable excuse. Most people don't. So, but the word needs to get out. Right. So anybody that's taking a picture with this guy, to me, you're just as you're just as culpable in promoting him. It's like, I'm sorry, but you know what?
if you're, as Paul said, there is no way that the corporation, for your bad behavior, the corporation is supposed to protect you. I don't think so. And where's the list? Is there like sexual assault, murder, rape, graft? I mean, is there a scale that basically, you can take a look at that the city is willing to protect you for?
Okay, so I just shared with some of our channels the website nohushmoney.ca, because I forgot to mention that. I'm still gung-ho on that until this councillor resigns. That website is staying up and is going to stay active. And we do have some comments. Let me quickly go through it, Don, because we're already out of time.
Yeah, okay. Quickly, and then we'll go to the next thing.
Okay, he should resign 100%. I'm not sure what these other comments. Dottie, your comment's too long, but okay, let me put it on. Doesn't matter where it happened. Dhillon still works for the city of Brampton. We shouldn't have people with a record of awful actions such as sexual harassment. Stop dancing around the mulberry bush. Get rid of them. It's not good projection. Like 100%, Dottie, 100%. Okay, Flynn again. Let's see what Flynn has to say. Wasn't condoning anything. Wasn't commenting to Mike. Was commenting to Mike. Since we feel the council doesn't get involved and really know what is going on. Okay, Flynn, we're going to give you an out. If we misunderstood you, and don't hang around Mike too much.
Yeah, Mike is a bad influence.
And Dottie says he's brainwashed, and we don't have time to go through the other ones. So, and I actually had more as seen on social, but we'll skip that.
Anyway, we're going to keep following this. I'm sure it's not a dead issue. Council, basically, you have till August the 19th to register if you're going to vote again, or if you're going to run against any of the incumbent councillors, or you want to run across the city for regional councillor or city councillor, or if you want to run for mayor. You have till August 19th. You got to get 25 signatures and go down to the clerk's office and register. $100 for a regional and city councillor, $200 for mayor.
But let's be honest here. If you're not in it now and you're not an incumbent, your chances of winning is dwindling by the hour, because there's a lot of work. You got to knock on every single door. You actually have to meet people to win. So you might want to look at supporting an existing candidate. Or encouraging somebody who would have a chance. And I know some viewers of this show are running. Good luck. It's hard work, and chances are you're going to lose. So go in knowing that and try to make a difference. That's what you and I did, Don, and we're still trying to make a difference.
Yeah, and the thing is to be involved in the community and talk about it. We're very vocal in regards to politics and issues in Brampton, which you should be, because it's a city that you live in. There's a lot of trolls out there that basically using as an example to promote their, troll type behavior on a regular basis. But the thing is, if you're out there doing stuff in the community and you're actually doing stuff, whether, it's helping the community grow. And that's the whole point of the exercise. And if you're not, and all you're doing is slagging and whining and bitching and complaining, then you know what? Maybe it's time to move to another city.
On that, Don, see you next week.
All right.